this week for social studies, we are going to be learning how to read a grid map. So we are going to quick talk about how just to read it and find locations today. Ooh, let's go back small. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about this is our map, but first thing we're going to talk about is row. The rows are kind of just like how we did arrays. Our row goes this way. So our rows are going to be right here. This would be a whole row. Like this would be row A. Everything here is in row A. So our rows go this way. Our columns go this way. So this is our column. This would be column 1, column 2. It's everything in a straight line. So row, column, row, column. All right, so why would we want to learn how to read a map? Remember, maps help us to know distances so that we know how far away one thing is from another, and it helps us to find an exact location. So remember, one more time, our rows are going to be this way, columns are going to be this way. But they're separated and labeled. So up here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, D. So all of these over here are going to be rows. So this would be row A, row B, row C, row D, and then these would be our columns. Column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, and column 5. So let's say I wanted to get to the fire department. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is write down which row it is. It's in row, not A. It's in row B. And it's in column 1. So it would be B1. So I would say for the fire department, it's B1. It's in the first one. So now let's say I wanted to go to the police department. The first thing I'm going to do is see which row it is in. It is in not A, not B, not C. It is in row D. So I have my row, I would say D, and then which column is it? It's not in column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5. So I could say the police department is in D5. Row is always going to go first, and then we're going to go into our column. All right, so we would find our police department in D5 because it's in row D in column 5. So now let's say we want to find the pond, and this is helping us know exactly where it is. So right when you look at the map, you know you're going to look for row, the letter of the row, into what number. So our pond is up here. So the first thing we want to know is what row is it in? It is in row A. Now what column is it in? 1, 2, 3. It is in column 3. So we'd write it as A3. So let's go over some examples on our homework. So the first thing we're going to be going over with our homework is selecting a column. Remember, row, column, row, column. So think column is longer, so you could think of straight, and a row is just like this. You just put a line through a row. So they're asking us to find column 1. So I know column goes like this, and I have to look at my labels, and it goes 1 right here. So I'm going to select this because this is column 1, and I only know because it is labeled. And then they go, good. All right, so let's practice another one. All right, and then they're going to start asking us questions of selecting the square, so not the row or column, that is D2. So we're going to have to find, remember we go to our column first, we have to look at what is labeled D, and then we have to go to the row, so we're at the row, now we have to go to the column. Sorry, so we go to row and then column. Row D, column 2, we have is right here. So I can see I went D2, and I'm going to click on it. And then they're going to say, okay, so now it says select the square that is D1. So I know I'm going to the row D. And now I have to go to column that is labeled 1. Which one is labeled 1? This one right here. So this would be D1. And let's do one more. So now we want to go to A4. Select the square that is A4. So first we have to go to the row that is labeled A. So here is my row labeled A. But we have to go to the column labeled 4. So I'm going to look up here. Here's the column 4. Here's row A. So it's going to be this one right here. So now the lesson we're going to go through, it says select square A1. So I have to look at my row for A. Here's A. And I have to look for my column 1. And where are they going to meet? A1 at the fire department. And then I'm going to press submit. Right, and that is it. All right, so have fun and make sure you're looking for the row and the column. You want to make sure that you're reading what it says. You have to find it. They're going to be labeled right here. So you have to find where E is, then you have to find where 1 is, and then where they meet. All right, have fun.